who's our digital project manager, will be reviewing the functionalities of our club secretary portal, hopefully to help you get the most out of it, not only to pay for your EA registration fees, but to also use it as a club membership management system. Lee Ray from Membership Services will be on hand to answer questions on text as the demonstration happens, and we'll also demonstrate the answers to some questions if the need is required. So as the presentation flows through, please feel free to keep the questions flowing. If you lose sound or picture during the webinar, it's going to be recorded and you'll be able to view the presentation in full at any time in the future. We'll email the link to you during the course of the next few days. I'll now hand over to Nicky, who will start the demonstration.
Thanks, Lynette. Okay, so as Lynette's mentioned, my name's Nicky Keller. I'm the Digital Project Manager for England Athletics, so I look after all of our websites and all of our projects relating to our digital systems. So I'm going to take you through the My Athletics portal today, focusing around the club management area, which a lot of you will know as the club portal or secretaries portal. That area is really aimed at sort of club secretaries, membership secretaries and treasurers, club administrators, making sure that they can manage their clubs effectively through that area. I just mentioned to you all that you are all muted and your cameras are all off, so we can't see or hear you, but if you do have any questions or you want to flag anything as we go through the webinar, you can see the chat function down in the bottom right of your screen, as Lynette mentioned. So just pop any questions or comments in there, just to make sure that we know you're there and that we're coming through okay for you. So the main areas that I'm going to cover with you this evening, we're going to look at just a basic overview of all of the functionality that you can access through the portal, thinking about some of the key areas, so the club profile area, adding and managing members within your club, setting up membership types and assigning them to your members, managing your England Athletics affiliation and registration fees, online payments and managing your club memberships. And I'd also just like to highlight the help and support area that we have available in the portal to make sure that everyone's aware of that and you're getting the most out of that. Before we start, I'd also just like to mention that we are currently in the process of enhancing the portal to improve the functionality to try and reduce the administration burden on our club volunteers. As I go through the demo of the current portal, I'll try and highlight some of the areas which we're looking at improving. But if you do have any feedback on the current portal or ideas about enhancements that you'd like to see as we redevelop the portal, then please do send them over to us and we'll share our email addresses at the end of this webinar so that you can send that feedback over to us. So I'm just going to share my screen with you now, hoping that you'll be able to see the portal. Just bear with me one moment. So that's just connecting now. Okay, so hopefully you can all see my screen now and you should be able to see the England Athletics website on there. I'd just like to flag to you, if many of you will already have the link to the portal, but if you do lose that link for any reason, you can access through the club and facilities area of our website. If you click on club portal here and log in, that will take you straight through to the portal for you to be able to access it. And so I'll just switch over to the portal now. In terms of accessing the portal, if you are a club secretary, membership secretary or treasurer, or perhaps a welfare officer, coach or team manager, you might already have full access to the portal or read-only access to the portal. If you feel like you should have access to the portal for your club and you don't currently, please do get in touch with our membership services team and we can help to set that up for you. I will just mention that I'm on the live portal as we go through, but I am logged into a test club which I've set up. So if some of the data seems a little bit off, that will just be because I'm using a test club at the moment. So hopefully everybody can see the portal that I'm logged into. So when you log into the portal, you're taken straight through to your club profile page, which displays the basic information about your club. Some key bits that I'd just like to pick out on here as we go through. You'll see here near to the top, you've got your club affiliation status. In this example, the club's not yet paid their affiliation, so they're marked as not affiliated. But this will update as your club pays your affiliation to England Athletics. And I just flagged that until the club affiliation has actually been paid, any athletes or runners associated with your club that might have paid their registration, even if they've paid the registration, they're not actually eligible to compete until the club itself has paid the club affiliation. Another thing I'd like to highlight here is the eligible marathon places. This will be auto-populated each year based on your number of registered competitive athletes aged 18 or over. So as you add athletes to your club and their registration status is updated, that number of eligible marathon places will update within the portal. The disciplines here that are listed will be those that you've let us know about when you completed your club application form. If you are now running additional disciplines or that needs updating, please do again just get in touch with our membership services team and we can do that for you. In the club area here, you'll see some of the key roles at your club. So you've got your club secretary and membership secretary named. It is possible to change these through the portal. If you click that change icon there, you can see who's currently in that position, and then you can click change. Typo there. Search for another member within your club, and if you want to make that member take over that role, you just click save, and then that will take over. The new person going into that role will be sent an email letting them know, and the existing person will also get sent an email to let them know that that role has been removed from them. I would just flag on those roles. Obviously, I wouldn't change those through the portal unless you've had that conversation with the member that's coming into that role to make sure that they're aware that they're going to be provided with that new role and access to the portal. In terms of the primary venue, this should be your primary club venue. So it might be a facility that you train at, a social meeting point that you use before or after runs. It could be a clubhouse. I just want to flag that the primary venue shouldn't be a secretary's home address, because we use this primary venue to populate the data in the club finder, which sits on the England Athletics website. So we want to be putting a location on there that's a neutral venue rather than sharing any data around people's home addresses. Currently, this data isn't linked directly to the club finder, so if you do update your primary venue within the portal, which you can do by clicking edit here, please just drop a note to our membership services team to flag that, so that we can then make sure that the club finder data is updated as well. Another thing just to highlight to you here is the portal users. If you click view all here, you'll be able to see a list of all of your current club members that have access to the club management area of the portal. So you'll be able to see if they have full access. If they have read-only access, that will also be flagged here. That's just so that you can keep track if there's people at your club that are no longer in roles where they should have access, then it's best to try and remove that access, just to keep on top of that, so you're not having too many people accessing your member data through the portal. The other thing I'll just highlight to you on here is your membership summary. So this provides the detailed numbers around how many athletes you've got registered at your club, broken down into competitive and non-competitive, your coaches, your officials, and your volunteers. This data is populated automatically based on the members that you've added through the portal, and also based on the roles that you've assigned to them when you've added them. So if somebody's not showing with a particular role, that's something that you can correct through the portal, and you can add that role to them to make sure that the numbers are looking a bit more representative of what's actually happening at your club. Okay, so I'll just talk you through adding and managing members through the portal. You'll see the left-hand side, we've got the full menu for the portal. So if you click on the Add Member button there, this will take you through to the form that you need to complete to add a member to your club. All of the fields on here are mandatory, so they're all required before you can create a member in your club. You start with adding just their basic details through here. The system, as you add in their first name, last name and date of birth, the portal will automatically look up that member within our main database, and it will flag to you if they already exist within our database. If they do already exist, you get the option to add that existing member. This is just to try and reduce the number of duplicate entries that we might have for members in the database, just to make sure that we can keep all the records as up to date as possible and really ensure the data quality that's going into the system. Similarly, once you've added in the first name, last name and date of birth, the system will also check to see if that person is already registered as a competitive athlete with another club. And if they are already registered as a competitive athlete with another club, the system will just prompt to say that that person needs to go through the change of club process before you can add them as a member within your club. There's further details around the change of club process on our website, but that process really needs to be initiated by the athlete themselves, and they can log into their My Athletics portal to initiate that process and start the change of club to your club. Once you've filled in their name and date of birth, you can then add their address. You can use the address finder to look up their address using their postcode. If for any reason their address is not found, if you click on Cannot Find Address here, you've got the option to add that address in manually. For each member, you'll need to add a valid email address for them. That's particularly important this year as we've moved to digital athlete registration packs. So when your athletes are registering with England Athletics, they'll get sent an email with a link to their digital registration pack, which includes their membership card and a host of other information and member offers. So I would encourage you just to double check the email addresses when you're adding that for members, just to make sure that they're correct. As the member is added to the portal through your club, the member will also receive an email notification just to let them know that they've been added as a member to your club as well. The membership type field here is auto-populated based on the membership types that you've got set up for your club. So these are specific to your club. You can add these, delete them and update them through the portal, and I'll talk you through that in just a moment. But if there's a membership type not showing here that you feel you need for your club, then you can add that through the portal. Once you've chosen a membership type from that drop down, that will auto-populate the membership fee, which is going to be charged for that member. And then you need to choose the athlete registration. So if they're a competitive athlete, you should select this here. That will let the system know that this member also needs to be charged the England Athletics registration fee. If they're not a competitive athlete or not a current athlete, then you can choose one of the other options. And if you'd like to add them as a volunteer within your club, you've got the option here to add them either as a coach, an official, or another volunteer role. If you click on other there, you can see there's a number of different volunteer roles that you can use to add members to your club, even if they're not existing athletes. I'll also just flag around the coach and official roles that this is particularly important for any coaches or officials that are looking to book onto courses through Athletics Hub. So making sure that they've got a valid coach or official role at one of our affiliated clubs will ensure that when that coach or official goes to book onto a course through Athletics Hub, that they'll receive the discounted rate for that course. The date of election will be auto-populated based on the date that you're adding the member. And then at the bottom there, it's just important that you tick to acknowledge that the member is aware that their data is being passed to the athletics governing bodies by you adding them to the portal. Once you click Create Member, a unique registration number will be created for that member. The member will be notified and they'll receive that URN via email. And then you'll be taken through, if you go through to your members list within the portal, which again is on the left-hand side menu, you'll see that that new member that you've added is showing in here. So within the All Members page here, you've got your basic information about your members, including their URN, first name and last name. You can also see the different roles that they have with your club. And you can see at the bottom here, there's a key to explain what those icons mean in terms of roles. If you need to update the roles for a particular member, you can just click on this green pencil icon here. You can update their athlete status, whether they're a competitive or non-competitive athlete, or if you'd like to give them a volunteer role, you can also do that through this screen, and you can just click on that to update their roles there. In the top right of this screen, you'll see that there's an options menu. You can use this to carry out different functions for the groups of members that are displaying on the screen. So if you'd like to email all of these members, you can click the email option. If you'd like to export a CSV download of your member data, you can use that. If you'd like to add members to a group, you can use this function here. And I'll just talk you through how that works. So if I wanted to add a number of members to a group, I can tick the ones which I want to add into a particular group. Then I'll go to the options menu and click Add to Group. So this screen will automatically show me any existing groups that I have created. If I want to add them to a group that I've already set up, I can just click on that and then Add to Group. If I want to create a new group and add them to that, I can enter the name for my new group and then click Add to Group, and those members which I've selected on the previous screen will be then added to that group as the group is created. On the members screen, you've also got the search functionality. So I appreciate that in your clubs, you'll have a lot more members than I've got listed here. If you're trying to find someone, you can type their URN or name into the search box here. You can also filter your members. So I can filter by the groups that I've got set up already. And I just highlight that the other screens on the left here, so the athletes tab, the coaches, the officials, and the volunteers tabs all work in a very similar way to this screen. I'll just show you the athletes tab. So again, you've got the basic information about your athletes. So this screen's showing anybody that you've assigned an athlete role to. And again, you've got that menu in the right-hand corner, this time with an additional option to resign athletes if you need to. If you do need to add a note to a member, again, you can just tick that member using the checkboxes on the left and then click the Add Note function. Then you can just enter the note that you want to be recorded against that member, click Add Note, and that note will be stored against that member's details. So that's just useful if you've got different people using the portal that need to be aware of anything relating to your members, you can use that functionality. At the top of the screen here on athletes, you'll see you've got different filters. So each one of these groups of members pages has different filters at the top. In terms of claim, I will just flag that currently you can only add first claim athletes to your club through the portal. If you do need to add second claim athletes, please just drop an email to our membership services team with the URN full name of the athletes that you'd like to add, as second claim, and our membership services team can add those for you. This is one of the areas that we're looking at improving within the new portal by allowing clubs to be able to add second claim members to their club through the portal themselves. Okay, so I'm now just going to take you through setting up membership types and assigning them to your members. If you scroll down to the right to the bottom of the menu on the left hand side and click on the settings tab, this is where you can set up your membership types, you can set your club membership year, and you can also set your club up to accept online payments through our secure online payment gateway called PayZip. So at the top of the screen, you can set your club membership year, when it starts from, and this will auto-populate with the finish date. We do find that where the club membership year runs in parallel with the England Athletics registration year, that tends to make the administration a lot easier. But at the same time, we have tried to build the portal in a way so that clubs with different membership years are able to use all of the functionality. We have a number of clubs that run their membership year from different months to the England Athletics affiliation year. In terms of the membership types, you can see here the list of current membership types for this club. Each membership type has a name, an amount, and you then tick whether that membership type includes the athlete registration fee. You can edit these at any time to change the name or the price, and you can also delete membership types if they're no longer in use for your club. I will just flag that if you've assigned these membership types to any members at your club, then it's best to remove the membership type from your members before you delete them. If you want to add a new membership fee for your club, you can add that here. You can give it a name, set the price for it, whether it includes the athlete registration fee or not, and then just click save. And that will be automatically updated against your club within the portal. So to assign membership types to your club, you'll go to the Pay Club membership screen within the portal. So this screen, again, it will auto-populate with a full list of all of the members that are within your club. You can see their basic details, again, your name, date of birth. And then in this column here, you can see the amount, which relates to the membership type that they've been assigned. You can see here also, if you hover over that amount, it will show you which membership type is currently assigned to that athlete. Where you've got the red icon here with the exclamation mark, that indicates that a membership type has not yet been set for that member. So if you'd like to allocate a membership type to that member, you just click on the green pencil icon, hit save, and then that will update the membership type for that member. If you need to update membership types for your members in bulk, you can do that as well by using the checkboxes on the left-hand side. You then go to the options menu, which I mentioned earlier, will always be in the top right-hand corner. Click on membership type. And again, you can choose to change the membership type for multiple members in one go. So that should save a bit of time there when you're assigning your membership types. I will just flag that the processing on those changing of membership types can take quite a while if you're looking to change large numbers of members at once. So we tend to recommend that if you can do it in smaller batches, that will help the system to process those more effectively for you. Okay. I'm just going to move through to managing your England Athletics affiliation and registration fees now. So if you go to the Pay England Athletics screen, which you, again, from the left-hand side menu, this will load a screen which is very similar to the Pay Club membership screen. The difference here is that it will only list those members which you've marked as competitive athletes, because those are the ones which are required to pay the England Athletics registration fee. Under the payment status, you can see whether the athletes have already paid their registration fee or not. You can see the amount. This will always be linked to what the England Athletics registration fee has been set at for that year. So in this case, it's always going to be £15 for the moment. You can see that these 3 athletes here have been ticked as proposed, which means that they're effectively waiting in the basket for me to either pay those fees online, request an invoice for the fee so that I can pay it with England Athletics. And you can see the total there. This club's not yet paid the England Athletics affiliation fee for the club, so that's why that total there is not matching what I've got proposed here. So the £150 England Athletics affiliation fee for the club has been added to that total there. Once you're happy with what's in your basket on the Pay England Athletics screen, you can click to pay that online, and it will just let you know how many members you're due to pay that for. If you click yes here, that you wish to continue to pay that online, you'll be taken through to Sage Pay, which is a secure online payment gateway. The system will just ask you to enter in your card details so that the payment can be processed. An order will be automatically created within the portal, and the payment will be taken. And then those athletes will be marked as paid, and your England Athletics affiliation, if it's included in that order, will be updated right away as well. If you prefer not to pay online or don't have that option to pay online because you don't have access to a card to be able to do that, you can click here to generate an invoice for the order. So if I click on that, the system will just create an invoice. And you'll get that notification on screen to say that the order has been generated, and it will tell you what the order reference number is. If you want to click to view that order, you can do that at this point. And then you've also got the option, once you're viewing the order, if you want to print that off, you can do so here. If you do create an invoice for your orders, then you have the option to send a check into the membership services team at England Athletics for that order. I would just stress that if you are sending a check, please just remember to put the order number and your club name on the back of that. You can also pay by BACS payment, and the details for the England Athletics bank account can be found in the help and support area, which I'll touch on later in the webinar. If I go to the order history screen, you should be able to see those orders that we've created now. You'll see that this order has got a status of pending because we've not yet paid it. That will be updated to paid once we've paid it, or alternatively, if I want to cancel that order because I've missed something off or I'm not happy with it, I can click the red X button, and that will cancel that order. As I click cancel on that, the order status will be updated, but you'll also see that the athlete's payment status will also be updated on the Pay England Athletics screen. You can see that they've gone back to proposed because they're still waiting to be paid. And if I untick them, then we can see that they're still outstanding. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about online payments and managing your club membership payments online. If we go back to the settings screen, which we were on earlier when we were setting up the membership types, this is where you can set your club up with access to PayZip, which is an online payment gateway. You can set up your PayZip account for your club by clicking Edit PayZip Settings at the bottom here. This club that I'm just using at the moment has not already been set up. If you're not sure whether your club has got a PayZip account or not, if you click that Edit PayZip Settings, if the club's already been set up, there'll be a PayZip organisation ID which shows here. In that case, you don't need to do anything to set up PayZip. You'll be all ready to start collecting online payments for your club. If it's not showing there and you want to set your club up with access to PayZip, you just click on Create Organisation in PayZip here, These details will auto-populate with those of the member which is logged in at that time. And then if you click on create, I'm not going to do that at the moment just for demo purposes, but if I click on create, I'll be taken through to the next screen, which is where I can enter the bank details for my club, and that they'll just be put on record then so that the club can start receiving online payments from members. Just take you back to the Pay Club membership screen while I talk through how the online payments work with PayZip. So once you've set up your club with a PayZip account, you can then send online payment requests to all of your members, regardless of whether they are competitive athletes and runners or not. And you can choose, regardless of the membership type, if it includes the England Athletics registration fee, or if it doesn't, you can still use PayZip to send online payment requests to your members. If the membership type that you've assigned to your members includes both the England Athletics registration fee and your club membership fee, then the member will just be asked to pay the total amount online through PayZip. The £15 registration fee will be sent to England Athletics so that we receive that, and then the remainder, which is your club membership fee, will be transferred directly to the club. I will just flag at this point there are transactional charges associated with using PayZip, but we have negotiated a preferential rate with them for all our clubs, which is 2.25% plus 0.25p per transaction. So that amount will be deducted from each transaction off the club membership fees, and then the remainder of those fees will be transferred to your club account that you've set up. The club gets paid by PayZip once a week on a Wednesday for all payments up to and including the previous Wednesday by PayZip. So PayZip will send a remittance advice to the club secretary every week, which will include a link to a payment report, which will direct you into the portal to view that report. That report will give you a detailed breakdown of which members have paid and how much they've paid, and the remaining balance that's been transferred to the club account. If you think that your club has been set up with PayZip, but you're not sure, you can do the check that I mentioned earlier through the settings screen. But also, if you think that your club's set up and you need to change the details that you've currently got registered with PayZip, then you can email PayZip directly through help@payzip.co.uk. And in terms of actually sending the membership requests to your members, it's just a case of clicking the members here under the pay column that you want to send payment requests to. If your club is set up with PayZip, at the bottom here, you'll see a third button which says send payment requests. If you click on that, it will take you through to another screen just to highlight the members which are going to be sent payment requests, and it will show the email addresses that are on record for them. And then if you click confirm from that screen, the payment requests will be sent directly to your members. They'll receive a unique link in an email from England Athletics on behalf of PayZip, and then when they click that link, they'll be taken through to the secure payment gateway provided by PayZip, where they can enter their card details and complete that payment. So I think that covers everything that I wanted to touch on around functionality regarding paying club memberships and paying England Athletics fees and the main functionality within the portal. I'd also just like to highlight to everyone the help and support area, which you can access through this link in the top right-hand corner. We've populated this area with a lot of information about the functionality that's included in the portal, and we've got this FAQs area which you can click on, which has a number of different topics in there, all with multiple questions underneath. If you click on any of the questions here, it will give you a detailed response on how to carry out that functionality within the portal. So if there's anything that I've missed tonight, then have a look in here, because the chances are the answers will be in there or equally, I appreciate that this has been a bit of a whistle-stop tour. So if there's anything that you need to refresh on after this webinar, you can use this area to just have a look at the key functionality, and it will give you this breakdown of how to carry out different functions. As I mentioned earlier, under the payments and orders section, you can access the bank details for England Athletics if you need those for your affiliation and registration payments. They'll be listed in a number of these questions which cover off payments. Also, if you have more questions about online payments and PayZip, PayZip have actually set up an FAQs page based on the queries that they've had through from clubs before. So this is quite a useful place to have a look at how the PayZip system works and common questions that clubs might have about the PayZip service that we offer through the portal. Also, within the help and support area, we have a resources area, which is for forms and documents relating to club affiliation and athlete registration. So what we've tried to do here is just take any of the forms that you might need relating to club affiliation and athlete registration, and just put them in one place so that you can access those easily through the portal. Okay, so that's the main functionality that I wanted to share with you in terms of the demonstration. I know that Lee has been answering questions on the chat as we've gone through. So just before we finish, if there's any other questions that people have that they'd like to send through on the chat screen, please do just fire them over now. And while we're still online, I can share my screen with you if there's anything else that needs to be talked through.
Nicky, we have some questions here. I'm not sure if you can see the chat stream coming through. Lee has answered most of them. I'm just picking out a couple that we might need some reiteration on. Let me just go back up to Byron Edwards. He was saying he's got an issue with emailing club members at the moment. He's tried several times recently to send emails, but it always fails. It's been okay until the end of March, but now it just doesn't work. He queried whether he was trying to send it to too large a batch of people. He was trying to email all members with a renewal reminder. Is there anything that we can add to that for him?
I'll just go in to the email area while we're on there, just so people can see that. I think the main thing that I would recommend, if the email is failing, it may be that you're trying to send it to too many members at one time. It may depend on whether you're including any attachments with that email. I'm not sure whether you are or not, but sometimes they can cause issues with the email sending service. What I'd recommend for now, if you could just send us the details of the email that you're trying to send and who you're trying to send it to, then we can have a go at that from our side. And if there is an issue, then we'll pick that up right away with our developers for you. Another one of the areas that we're looking at enhancing for the new portal will be around email functionality and the deliverability and performance of that email area, because we're aware that there's been some issues with that in the past. So that is a key area that we're really looking to improve to help the clubs to be able to communicate with their members.
That's great, thank you. I think that covers that. Anne was asking about adding roles, just to go over that again, and particularly wants to add a welfare officer role, but just wanted to look at that functionality.
Okay, yeah. So if you go into the members screen in the portal that you can see here, you'll see the roles column showing different roles that the members have. If you click on the green pencil icon, if you want to add a volunteer role, which the welfare officer would come under, if you click yes on here on the edit role screen under volunteer, you'll see here that we've got the role of welfare welfare officer or DBS verifier. If you click that there and save that, that will update the role for that member.
That's great, thank you. Question from Claire Evans. She said, I'm sorry, I'm lost on this payment stuff. We currently ask members to pay online via the online banking, and then our treasurer does a transfer to EA. What's the benefits to using PayZip?
Okay, so I guess the main benefits of using PayZip is that it cuts out that middle process for you. So rather than having to contact your members outside of the system, let them know how much membership fee they need to pay, and getting them to transfer it to your treasurer, who will then transfer it to England Athletics. If you've got your membership type set up within the portal and all of your members, then you can assign the membership types to the members, send the payment request to them directly. For the member, it doesn't make much difference. It allows them to pay online directly rather than doing the transfer to your treasurer. But it means the split payment functionality that's included with PayZip will mean that payment is split between England Athletics and the club in the correct amounts instantly, so that reduces the administration for your treasurer and whoever's making those payments through the portal to England Athletics. Those will just be done automatically when your members make that payment through PayZip.
Great, thank you. There's a question from Edna. Because of the current situation, the club not meeting, we haven't asked for membership fees yet. Do we need to? Edna, it's pretty much up to the club's own initiative at the moment. We have about 50,000 athletes registered so far. Lots of clubs are registering their athletes with England Athletics, not always collecting their club subs, so they will just reach out to them for their EA fees and be sending those via the portal. Benefits that we have at the moment is for an athlete to be registered is that we've got lots of offers with our partners. One specific one is with DW Fitness, and if they make an order online, they get a £15 reduction, so they almost get their registration fee back. So there's lots of offers that we're going out and reaching out and providing to our membership base at this, the fallow competition time at the moment. Lots of online webinars, coaching blogs, coaching support going out there that we're trying to do lots of initiatives with to keep the membership base active, with lots of different drills and scenarios, as you may have seen from Jenny Meadows, as well as general coaching hints and tips. We have another question with regard to from Anne Davis of head of coaching asked for the qualifications and courses attended for club members. Could you just show Anne, when you go into the coaches section where you can see who's got if they've got a DBS or not, if they're licensed, they can go. You might not be able to do that on your screen, but if you can see Anne from Nicky's screen there, the coaches, you'll be able to see your coaches and whether they're licensed. If you go into the individual then and look at their individual profile, you'll be able to see their qualifications on their screen.
Yeah, so as this is a test club, I haven't got any official coaches on there at the moment, but if this member did have qualifications, they will be listed here also. And then as Lynette says, the licensed column is the important one, because that will show whether they've got a current license, and they won't have a current license unless they've got a current DBS check. So you'll know whether their DBS has expired or not through that licensed column there. But as Lynette says, if you need to view the qualifications in more detail, you can click onto the member's name, and that will take you through to a breakdown of their profile where their qualifications will be listed there as well. And if you need to, you can also click on the qualifications tab for that member. If someone's got a lot of them, then they'll all be listed here. It'll show you what level they're at and the date that they've achieved those as well.
Thanks, Nikki. I'll just give it another couple of moments, but I think we've answered the majority of the questions that have come through now. So we'll just see if any more come in.
Okay, I've just stopped sharing my screen there. It looks like the majority of the questions have all been answered there. I'd just like to say to everyone, thanks very much for listening and taking the time out to join the webinar tonight. I do hope that you found it useful. As I've said earlier, if you've got any feedback on the current portal, or if you do think of any questions that we've not been able to cover tonight, please do send them through to our membership services team through registration@englandathletics.org. They'll get passed on to me if they're more technical, or if our membership services team can answer those for you, they will do. Lynette, was there anything else from your side?
No, I don't think so. I think we've answered all of the questions. Lee shared his email address, which you can see on there if there's any further questions to go through. Nothing but to say thank you again for your time. You know where you are, where we are, if you've got any further questions.
Okay, yeah, I'm just going to try and put up a post-event survey as well, which would just be great if people could just take the time to just complete that as we close the webinar. It's literally only, I think, 3 or 4 questions, so it shouldn't take you too long to complete that, if that's okay. Thanks very much, everyone.